Speaking of the Do You Know BTS project, we will be talking about it in our Army History 101 series. It will be in part 4, whenever that comes out, someday in the future.
Cool.
Yeah, we have like a whole series of Army history, like from the terrible people we had to deal with to the various annoying award shows or radio or stuff like that, to the most amazing Army projects like One in an Army, like the Purple Ribbon Project, our crackhead culture, Beer Tan, Gene Cult, all that. It's all there. Yeah. Speaking of annoying people, a certain someone.
Oh, the drama.
Here comes the hard ones.
A certain someone wrote in an article that one of the main reasons that Army that Army donates is because of fan wars. As someone who organizes, who has an organization based on donations, do you find any truth in that statement?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I feel like that just totally disregards, any other possibility of like reasons that the way that she stated that, and it's really, really sad and just disappointing.
Yeah. Anyone else wants to end? We'll get to read it all about it in our new book.
Oh no.
Sorry.
Oh, goodness gracious. I think that like in looking at that, we've gone, and this just sticks out in my head every time we talk about it. We focus on really small micro donations. We've had somebody reach out to us and say, hey, I only have 85 cents in my account. Can I donate that? And how do I do that? And we try to find ways that people who can make what others consider those small donations, for them it's impactful and they want to feel like they can give and be a part of something. And I feel like donating and what we do allows for them to do that. And I while it gives a whole space, I don't think it's necessarily driven by award shows and things like that. I mean, if it really were, there'd be a lot. I mean, there's always an outcry. There's always issues going on with it, but I think there would be a lot more of it. And again, a lot of people, they want to give and they want to make a difference, and they don't necessarily want to be noticed for it. We work a lot in anonymous ways. We're not real big on, hey, my name is Janice and I'm with One in Army. Like, that's not something we put out on all of our, things, or Sammy or whoever it is. That's not something we do, but we promote it. And so I think it just, I don't think it's driven by that. I think it's a bigger, they want to make an impact on the world, and it doesn't have to do so much with that.
So I missed the question actually. I'm a bit confused.
Tamar Herman said that the reason Army donates is, one of the reasons why Army donates is fan wars. So, like to
Silly craziness.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I personally was offended by it. Like, I think the whole team knows that. The whole team knows I was very, very offended by that because because it was never like something that for us personally, like for us, it was never about that. It was never about competition or publicity or anything like that. It was generally like wanting to help. And we've seen a lot of people like reach out to us and be like, I really like what you do, and I really want to help. I really want to like help this thing for it. And it comes genuinely from the heart, and it was never for publicity or for the press or whatever. So to see that, and it was an opinion, but it was stated as a fact, and that's what really like hurt me, because it was not a fact, So yeah, and I felt like they should have like at least reach out to us and ask us about what our motives are and what we see, like what we experience, what we see like other armies are doing.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was very disappointing. It was very disappointing because it was not like truthful.
Yeah, if only there was someone she could have talked to before making that article.
Exactly.
I know. God, I don't know where she would find those people.
Seriously, it's like,
Very hard to reach us. Very hard.
no. It's crazy. You have to go through all these tests, you give quizzes, you have to do hoops, go skywriting, show. It's crazy.
Yeah. I guess if she was talking about like in a more like general way that did not really mention, she did not mention us specifically. She didn't say, one in an army does it for competition.
No.
So we can't even say that, we can't say that she said that. But I think the way that the article was structured and,
Yeah.
it kind of like implied us.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, well, she also
So
said that
that was sad.
on social media, so obviously someone from Big
Yeah.
Hit is stalking Tay and posting topless pictures of him in the middle of the night, so yeah. Anyways, a certain journalist who has a book coming out about BTS soon. Yeah,
We were just talking about this.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
She once mentioned that the reason why there are so many donations is because of fan wars. What's your take on that? Do you think ARMY are donating because of fan wars?
No,
Simple answer.
absolutely not. No, no, not at all. For us, like as OIAA, that has never crossed our minds to go ahead and ask charities if other fandoms have donated to them, or like that's not part of our requirement when we do these things. We do them because we want to help. Armies pick a cause that they really want to do. We go and look for them. It's never been a thought in our minds too. The fact that she thinks that, it's a little sad, to be honest, because it means that maybe she's never done anything out of the goodness of her heart, maybe. I don't know, because that's not something I would have ever thought of, at least. Was that too mean?
No, I don't think you can be doing. We have like in the ARMY history, we start with talking about her, and I think it's like a 25-minute rant. And we don't even cover everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We rant a lot. In our Discord, we do a lot of ranting in there. So it's so we can be super sweet when we're interacting in public. We're like, did you guys see? Okay. But yeah. Yeah, I mean, pretty much I can just echo what Michelle said. Like, I mean, if you are in a position where you doubt the sincerity of others and what they do, and you have to find some, petty reasoning for it, I mean, there's nothing much we can say. I don't know what. Yeah. I can't speak for the history of K-pop fandoms and what they've done. Like, I've never been anything but ARMY, and so, I mean, I've heard that there were conflicts between fandoms and stuff like that. Like, I've never experienced any, as a member of one in an ARMY, no one's ever come to us and said, oh, this fandom is doing this donation, so we have to do that too. I mean, literally never has that ever been a thing that anyone's ever said. I mean, people send us recommendations for charities because they're in a country and they know what's happening in that country and they want people to know what's happening there and to help. Or they heard about something happening in another country and their empathy for the people there. That's how One in an Army got started. Anna was feeling empathy because she had learned about what happened in Syria and she wanted so badly to do something, and she knew that she could turn to a community like ARMY and find help and other kindred spirits who would support the idea of helping people because they needed help. So the idea that, you know, people are only doing it for competitive reasons is, I mean, I don't know if it's more shocking or just like, I mean, the idea that really is that something that happens? Because
I don't know, like
yeah.
this woman thinks that BTS don't run their own social media platforms. So she believes I think she thinks that someone from like Big Hit is taking pictures of Tae half naked and posting it on Weverse, like of Tae's feet. Like what? I don't know. So yeah.
that journalist.
Yeah.
If you can call her that.
She you have to pick a word. I'm trying to give people the benefit of the doubt, and maybe they just don't understand. But I mean, you've had plenty of time to learn and plenty of time of people telling you what their situation is. And so at this point, you're either being deliberately obtuse or you're just doing it because it's either, you know, you have some kind of feelings that you're trying to work out through these kind of statements, or you are, you know, you feel like it sells better to make these statements and rile up people, you know, with blatant untruths. So I can't have too much sympathy at that point. You know, if I thought it was genuine ignorance of what happens and an actual desire to learn what we do and why we do it, and you know, then that would be one thing. But at this point,
she's always welcome to reach out to those organizations that we work with and ask them directly. I know they'll be happy enough to talk about the work we've done and the work the Army has done, because, you know,
she could reach out to us. We are standing right here, literally right here all the time. So, you know, you could have asked that question, hey, has anybody ever approached you and said, I want to donate because this other fandom is donating? And we could say, that's never once happened ever. So, you know, that's, you're just pulling things out of thin air at this point. So
maybe she will in the future if she actually decides she wants to learn.
Perhaps.
I know.
I like to believe in people, so you know, it's possible that she will, you know, get
eventually
a ray of inspiration of maybe I should talk to Army and get the truth of the matter, and then make the statements, and then maybe they will, you know, kind of match up with reality a little better. But who knows?
Who knows? Maybe.
I'm trying not to be like super salty about it. Let's be polite. Okay.
I know that she's definitely has reached out to people asking about charity work that Phantom has done. I do remember vaguely seeing her doing an interview, or like interviewing armies about, not armies, interviewing fandoms and their charity work. Like there was a billboard post or something like that. And I know that there were armies that are still friendly with her, I guess, or that still follow her, that had mentioned us and our thing, but she never really reached out to us. So
I think there's also, like, I mean, you know, the way that was phrased, and this is kind of a pet peeve of mine, is that, you know, they say, well, in K-pop fandoms, this is something that happens. And I really get irritated with this umbrella term of K-pop fandoms, because I am an Army, and that is because I follow BTS for a specific reason. There's something about BTS that appeals to me, and it's not because they are Korean artists and they sing in Korean, and that's something that I'm just going after anything that does that. I'm sure there are wonderful artists in Korea and many other, you know, places. I mean, I've seen them. I've seen other artists, and I've seen, you know, people that are incredibly talented people, but I am a member of Army because I believe in what BTS themselves put in the universe, and it is not that they are Korean pop artists, you know? Yeah. And so it seems to me like that's a little bit very, what's the word? You know, that one too. It's you know, it takes away that it takes away, for me, it feels like it takes away from what we are about as a fandom and what BTS are about as artists, and it's just lumping them into, oh, K-pop fandoms, this is a thing, and this is all the people that are listen to music in Korean are, you know, they all do this sort of thing, and you know, that diminishes the uniqueness of this fandom and these artists, and so that really annoys me. And so to get just lumped into that is like, okay, well, you like anything Korean, obviously, and so, you know, I like a lot of things that are Korean, but I like things, you know, for many other things. That's not why I'm arguing, you know. And I think that's an important distinction that a lot of media make, you know, when they use that K-pop fandom, you know, and Miss Journalist was, you know, in that same group of people that are just making this category and just fitting us all into it and not looking into the whys of why we do what we do and why we follow them.
I think that's like really the main issue here, because she, as a K-pop expert, whatever that is, she really lumps in BTS and ARMY with all the rest. And like when Black Lives Matter happened, she was like, standing a K-pop group is a political statement. A, Black Lives Matter itself wasn't a political statement, and B, it's all about the music. Like first of all, you're not like, ooh, I'm gonna be political, I'm gonna stand a K-pop group. Like that's not it. Like she just makes these blanket statements that really don't show her as an expert. Instead, they're like really cliche or just overall stuff, instead of like dissecting everything and going depth. Like she could have done a book, like instead of what she actually does, like a whole encyclopedia of K-pop and breaking it down, like since 1992 when Satoshi and Boys came about, and like doing eras and doing it by generations, and like really going in detail and showing her expertise. But instead she constantly chooses to battle ARMY, and then does a book about BTS that honestly I read like the tiny snippets of it, and it like Amazon has on their webpage like a few screenshots, and it's just like, okay, it's not revolutionary, like not to ARMY at least. And I'm sure it didn't show any point of view. It was just like facts for that point. But I have a feeling like her point of view is in there. But yeah, that was a short rant.
Yeah. So just a little one.
No problem.
Yeah, I always think it's important for people to ask the question why. I think why is one of the most important questions you can ask in any situation. And you know, if you're just looking at it and saying, oh, well, you're a fan of this group, and you know that's the end of your curiosity about it, then you're just going to fill in everything else with assumptions, and the assumptions are usually 100% wrong. You know, and so you know, I you know, love BTS for who they are as people and the kind of community that they've gathered around them and drawn to them through their music. And that is something that is so far beyond a genre of music, you know, or you know, a business of music, or a language of the music, you know. And so it's something that I feel that if people, especially in media, would explore the why more, they would have such a richer story and a more full narrative of what they're trying to express when they're explaining to people. They're basically trying to explain ARMY and BTS to the general public. And they have so little to go on because they don't ask why. You know, they say this is what happens, and then that, you know, they just make up some, oh, because I can see that they sing and dance, you must like them because they sing and dance, therefore you're doing charity for these people because they are singing in Korean, and there's other groups that sing in Korean, you want to be better than them. I mean, that's a whole story you literally just made up in your head because you didn't ask why. You know, so yeah.
Well, so you're a little girl because you're a fan of a boy group.
Yeah. That drives me so insane. There's nothing wrong with being a little girl, first of all.
Yes,
we've all been there.
Exactly. Little girls are the best.
It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Honestly. At this point, I feel kind of bad for them because they don't really, you know, take the time and effort to actually do any research on like how diverse ARMY is and how, you know, maybe go back to school and learn that you know, being a little girl being a girl in general isn't a bad thing to be.
Yeah. And stop making assumptions.
It completely stems from that, from trying to be derogatory and insulting and doing that by saying, oh, it's little girls, as if there's something insulting about that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care. You can call me a little girl all you want, but it's not like the fact that it's done as an insult is just.
Exactly. Like there's nothing wrong with being a little girl.
2020, come on, man.
Exactly. Little girls are incredible, and if you want to call me that, that is a huge compliment.
That's
but
fine.
you think you're insulting me by saying that, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and people just come up with these. I mean, I had someone ask that he said that Army said, oh, it sounded really aggressive, and you know, so like he was trying to figure out what Army was. Like he had no concept of BTS, Army, anything. And so he was trying to, was a journalist, and he was trying to figure it all out. And he was like, I actually told him what it stood for, and he's like, what? Because he had this idea that we're like the new wing of Anonymous. Because K-pop stans are now going to be anonymous. They're infiltrating the politics, and they're, you know, coming for, you know, like, I mean, and it's like, you made this whole story up, dude. It's like, where did you even get this? And so, you know, I mean, but taking having the time to be patient with people and let them know, you know, what is the purpose behind we doing this, behind why we do these things, really changes minds and it changes attitudes. But they have to be willing to listen. Like there's so many that just want to stick in their preconceived notion, and that's where they're staying, and they can make money off of staying in that notion and selling it to people as an idea. Well, you know, not much you can do for those people except, well, sorry for you that your life is not enriched with all the knowledge that we have over here. So
yeah, I guess that's what happens when Backstreet Boys paved the way for
I'm so happy that happened. Oh my gosh, what would we have done without Backstreet Boys?
Yeah, Backstreet Boys and NSYNC, they completely paved the way for BTS.
Yeah, we'd have basically all been sitting here staring at walls if it wasn't for Backstreet Boys and NSYNC.
And I love the Backstreet Boys.
Oh, same.
But seriously.
Like, you know, I mean, we all did, but you know, that's a very weird narrative to come through. Yeah. And there's so many other people that you could have attributed that to.
Like at the very least, they could have said Boys to Men. I mean, come on, like at the very least, like Boys to Men paved the way for Backstreet Boys.
Yeah, I mean, or even named, I mean, I wouldn't have been, well, yeah, you know, if they named Sotaji or, you know, some of the influences in Korea that they had, Epic High, I mean, you know, Tiger JK, you know, people that actually influenced them personally, you know.
Yes, or any, like, Tupac and Jay-Z and
Eminem, right?
And, like,
all of the hip hop greats, you know, Nas and oh my gosh, I can imagine. I can't imagine. I'm just thinking about the look on Namjoon and Yoongi's faces. They were told that their career was only made possible because of Backstreet Boys. I'm not sure how they would take that. I'm sure they would take it humbly and like gentlemen, but that I can feel like that would be a little bit of a confusing thing to them, because I don't think that was really their core influences, as they have told us what their core influences are. We could tell the journalists what they have been.
Yeah.
So, but they seem to not ask us. They just, you know.
Yeah. Well, anyone wants to add anything?
We got off on such a tangent.
Yeah.
And another thing.
Yeah.
We love to defend our voice.
We do.
Men, gentlemen.
Well, apparently they don't know us and don't need defending.
There's always that.
It's been an interesting 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's been crazy on Twitter with what's her face.
Yeah.
What's her face? Well, to be honest, there's not much of a face to talk about.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's the water splasher.
No.
I don't know who we're talking about.
Nice water splasher at least does things. Sorry.
Oh, come on.
I feel like I have to say sorry after every second thing I say. And this is why I'm not on Twitter.
We can't say anything mean while we're being recorded. We'll save it for later.
Did I say anything mean?
It's
Was
okay,
I
I'll
wrong?
edit it out. It's okay.
When we edit that, don't worry. You can say anything you want to say.
Yeah. She like we did a whole like 30-minute rant about her a month ago as part of the army history stuff, and then she just decided to come back again. So
Well, the history is very, very, how do you say it, fresh.
fresh, yeah. But it was like only like we were talking about April of last year when she did the same stuff that she did now.
What
And
song was it? Was it Euphoria at that time?
I know, Boy with Love.
Boy with Love.
Yeah.
Ah, Boy with Love. Oh, fuck me.
Yeah.
Get that out.
Jesus. Sorry.
Yeah, she said she voted just herself, her pen, and her husband.
Oh yes, yes. And then she called Euphoria her baby.
Yeah.
And like, no, mate, no, it's not your baby. No.
A brain
Stay away from
I
our
feel
baby.
like this is the opposite of us with Black Lives Matter, because we did a small contribution to it, but we don't claim it like it wasn't our project. We never did like 99% of it. And then, you know, like some people make a small contribution to a project and they decide that it's their project and they did all of it. So
You know how it happens in school when you have to do
we're
a
the
project,
opposite.
and then you do almost the whole project, and the person who did almost nothing presents it and takes all the credit.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so it's fixed. It's not gonna close. We got this.
Okay, so back without the emphasis on. No swearing.
Yeah.
어쩜 이 밤의 표정이 이토록 다른가